Hello, I'm Agnes Berengari, and I am your host of Embroidery for the SCA period, and I hope you enjoy this series. My class today is on chain stitch, and so we're going to be working with chain stitch today. I'm working with, as someone has asked that I talk a little bit about my tools, I'm working today with 2 strands of silk floss. From Gloriana is the name of the company that makes the silk floss. But there are several companies that make lovely silk floss, and you can do this in cotton. It does not need to be done in silk. Most of your DMC, Anchor, and Madeira are designed to look like the mercerized gives it the sheen of a spun silk, not necessarily a regular or a flat silk. A flat silk, you're going to have more sheen. But in this case, we don't need to use a flat silk. We're going to use just a regular silk. I've put a little bit of a knot. I'm going to put it over here so hopefully you can see it. Put a little bit of a knot in my thing because we're going to start with an away waist knot. I'm one of those horrible people that likes to use an away waist knot. I have my scissors. Scissors are important. These are my scissors. These are a Sajou scissor, which are kind of pricey. They're the pricey ones. But you can get a nice cheap pair of embroidery scissors that work beautifully. You want something with a sharp tip because you're going to be clipping really close to the fabric. So you want something with a really sharp tip. And though the non-stitchers in your household need to be made aware that these are as sacrosanct as your dressmaking scissors. So just fabric shears and embroidery shears are sacrosanct. They are not to be used on anything but your embroidery. Now, one thing that I will say though is if you want, it's always good to have a set of embroidery shears for wool and then your silks and cottons. So 2 different ones. And if you do work with metallic threads, you want a separate set of embroidery shears. The reason why is both wool and metallics are going to kind of mess with your scissors. Okay, so let's go down here and let's see if I can get it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Do what I need you to do. Okay. Down here is our I've stretched my I'm working on a veil edge. Okay, I decided I was going to embroider a veil edge because I didn't have any projects right now that use the chain stitch, and so I decided, okay, I'll do a veil edge with the chain stitch. So we are going to be doing a veil edge. I'll probably add curly cues and things like that later. Right now, this is it. Because the veil itself is finished, I am using a modern hoop, okay? I've got a Sally Bates, I think it's Sally Bates. I've got a Bates hoop that has a little ledge on it. The ledge is nice because it gives a really nice tight tension. Morgan hoops also have that ledge. One thing is when I'm done, I'm going to take it off because one thing that ledge will do is it will put a crimp in your linen. So be very careful with it. Yes, and I am using a very fine linen for my veil. I'm also on a, see there's my, I've got a frame stand that I'm using because that allows me to work with 2 hands, so I can put one hand underneath everything. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do like we started our stem stitch in the last episode. I'm going down and I'm going to come back up, and yes, I know I'm sewing that, but it's not that big a deal. I will not be doing a lot of sewings with this one. Okay, so I'm coming back around. It's usually good form to return to the same hole, okay? And if you look, I've got my little loop here, and I'm bringing it up, and very gently, I'm not going to give too much. Now I'm going to go back down again. One of the things about chain stitch, this style of chain stitch, there are 2 styles of chain stitch, both are used in period, but this style, which is the oldest style, And I'm coming back over here and I'm making sure I catch my thread. Okay. Is that, note, see, there's that circle again, that I'm coming up the middle of the circle. Note that this style of chain stitch, if you're doing it properly, you cut one thread and it just starts, it comes out kind of like a machine thread. Okay. Especially if you see machined chain stitch, a lot of times it'll just come out. It will just come out. Okay, so I'm coming down again. And if all goes well, I have caught that silly little thread underneath. I think I did because I went the other side today. And again, I'm giving it that little bit of a, and I'm zhuzhing, and I'm making sure that it does what I want. It's a little, I'm going to go and fix my threads a little bit. One thing, yeah, you want to kind of fatten up the threads. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to fatten up my threads, move them back, okay, and go back in. There we go. Come back up. And again, it's not, teeny tiny is good if you can do it, but it is not absolute. Consistency is more important than teeny tiny. Back in. And we are going to come back up. And we're going to go back down. And because this is a fine thread, I think I may need to do some work with it. But, yep, there we go. Okay. There we go. And you can, zhuzh, zhuzh, zhuzh. Alrighty, now. Hopefully, if all went well, let's flip and see if all went well. If all went well, my lovely little threads, yeah, I hooked them once. So I'm going to have to go back through. Hooked them once. I will go back through probably with a thread and kind of pull them through so that later, so that they do what they need to do. But yeah, that, and even I have problems. Yes, it is true. Even I have problems with this. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to actually use that hole. I'm going to make sure that the thread is going through there. Now, do you have to use a hoop or a frame or any kind of stretching device when you do embroidery? No, you don't. Some people like to work in hand. However, I will let you know that for some stitches, some stitches in hand is perfectly fine. But the hoop helps to maintain the tension. And we've been seeing, so I don't know if 4th century Persians who did that one little embroidery of the Mongolian or the Hun riding through their town or whatever. They have it's really kind of a cool little embroidery. It's, just some kind of, they decided to embroider this person who I assume was not a Persian. And so there it was, Okay, put that over there. Sometimes you're lucky and you can get everything aligned properly, and sometimes it just doesn't want to align the way you want it to. But there you go. I mean, if you really want to get it nicely, you just do that. Okay. But make sure you can see where your holes are going. There we go. So, and if you want to stop it, you just stop. Like I've run out of thread. I haven't, but I'm not going to sit here and stitch for 5 hours. Okay, you just go down over that loop, because if you don't, it's going to come undone. Let's show you what we're doing here. Okay, I'm going to go in. Remember that little weaving? That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of a weaving. And because this is a veil, I'm going to do a little bit more weaving than I normally would do, because I do not want it to come undone. But I also want a nice little line so that people, you know, only see the nice little line. Okay. And so that is our, that is how to do a chain stitch. And I hope, you know, and I can go all the way around this veil. Oh, I don't like that. I can go all the way around this veil. I gotta stitch that close. And here, oh, somebody decided to bop in on me, huh? That's mean of them. I'm in the middle of something. Okay, here we go. It's pretty well tied, actually. But I think what I'll do is I've got a little bit of thread on my... I'm going to show you a little trick here. I've got a little bit of thread. Sometimes you get threads that, yeah, my thread is giving me problems here. And that happens, you know, your thread's going to give you problems. It looks like I stitched through my thread at some point, and that's why my thread's giving me problems. It's like, oh, seriously? Well, it doesn't matter, because that's not what I'm worried about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here. I'm going to stitch under my, but I'm not, notice I didn't pull my thread all the way through, because now I'm going to go back and I'm going to catch that tail, and I'm going to put that tail under that one, and then I'm going to do it again. Okay, so I'm going to go under the stitch, and we're on the back side, remember. I'm going to go under the stitch, I'm going to catch that tail, and I'm going to bring it back. Okay, and that should theoretically, there we go, we have fixed our back. So even if you don't catch it all, you did okay. And there's, so there we go. That's the back side, and there's the front side. And if, let's see if we can get a nice look at that nice little stitch. I'm going to undo here and bring it over and bring it there, and let's see if we can get a good look at that stitch. Okay, come on, camera. Give us a little bit more, because I can't read. Even I'm looking at it going, come on, guys. Can't you give us a little bit of love on that stitch? Let me move my frame stand over. Oh, everything's falling now. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. So here is, let's see. Come on, baby. Come on. Well, you can kind of see it. And for some reason, it doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Let's see if we can brighten it up. No, that didn't work. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's see if we can get this to do it. Okay, there it is. It's really driving me crazy trying to figure out how to get it so you guys can see it. But hopefully you can see that. I may have to put a picture at the end of this. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.